Leon, thank you very much for doing this today. As we have discussed previously, the goal is to help someone like me who knows Photoshop, Keynote, and so on, who can mock up to experience interactions on 2D, be able to do the same in 3D. So I can put on my headset and feel some static environment, see if things are right, and then also to use the resulting assets to communicate with coders who will then make them interactive. I have experience with 3D from decades ago, so I look forward to learning what is happening today.
All right. Yeah, well, thank you very much. I would love to show you around a bit. First, a disclaimer, I'm also not a Blender expert, which might also be good news, as I also realized that Blender is not so much a 3D editor, it's more of a sort of commonplace for designers, developers, and animators, and all kinds of people to sort of blend together, which also might make it a bit daunting. But yeah, truth of the matter is that most of the time everybody uses 1% of Blender, and then so everybody knows a little bit, and then everybody together knows a lot. So how about I start sharing my screen to sort of show you around with what I think are the most essential shortcuts. There are a few shortcuts, and if you know those, then you can navigate any 3D scene.
That sounds great, but I have an initial question. Is it okay with a trackpad, or do I need to use a strange mouse like this to try to follow you?
I will show you both ways. You can use it on a laptop with a touchpad, but well, the mouse is also really nice, to be honest, and especially the device you have. Although I don't have experience really fine-tuning that. I know that you can fine-tune these devices in the preferences setting, but I have never tried it, and I would be curious if what your experiences will be. Maybe I will also have to buy one.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. So, so yeah, if you have downloaded Blender, then you will. Oh, let me first share my screen. Then you will see something like this. Do you see this on the screen?
I can, yeah, very well.
Okay, so a lot of things are going on here, and yeah, a fun fact is that the whole user interface is not some kind of there is not some kind of master plan or idea behind it. Everything is basically an add-on. So everything you're seeing here is just the add-ons which are currently enabled by default. So everything is sort of very modular, which is great and daunting at the same time. But again, you only have to use 1% of this. Blender is also a very textual environment, oddly enough, even though it's 3D. It's sort of a Vim environment where certain keystrokes are very essential to using the software. So let me first turn on the shortcut viewer, which is especially handy for this video session. So now you can see, like in the bottom, if I press G, you will see G, correct?
Well, no, I can see it says left as in left mouse button.
Yeah, that was the left mouse click. So if I press left mouse click and right, you can see what I'm actually doing, which is good for the video.
Oh, how did you enable that?
Well, that's also an add-on. It's called the shortcut VUR add-on, and you can just like if I stop it, it will be done.
Okay, no, that's cool. Thank you. So that's a part of Blender for those who want it. That's good.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is also why I think Blender has a really big community, and there are many YouTube tutorials and videos about it, because it's so easy to see what's going on with these kind of add-ons. So I will now, so we're now in the modeling tab, and there's many tabs for all kinds of different types of people, animators, or there are people who are more into shading. There are people who are into compositing. Yeah, it's very multidisciplinary. Disciplinary. I will now open the scripting tab, which is more useful for developers, but just to write down some notes here, I'm gonna write down some, yeah, very important keystrokes. So there is the G, which is basically grab. Then you have these characters. There is also, let's first start with that. So I will go to modeling. So let me start with the most important one, which is edit. So the moment you press edit, as you can see here, it's now in edit mode. The moment you press tab, you basically switch between object mode and edit mode. So edit mode is a more detailed mode where you can edit all kinds of points.
Hang on,
etc.
hang on. Okay, I'm following you. So I'm in the modeling and I've hit tab and
Yeah.
it just shows and hides commands a little bit. I
Do
didn't
you
do the
see
scripting bits. Should I do the scripting bits?
in which tab are you? The modeling tab?
Yes.
And if you click once with your left mouse button in this 3D space and then press tab, what happens then?
I'm still in the modeling tab, but it goes
Yeah.
object mode rather than edit mode.
If you hit tab again,
Can you do it on yours? So I say, yeah, edit and yeah, that's right. I've selected the cube, and then at top left it toggles between object mode and edit mode.
okay, so now it works.
Yeah, but why did you go into scripting before this?
So this is basically a small notepad for this session. So later, if I save the Blender file, it will save this text along with it. So it's a small notepad for now for this video.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not using it to script. It can be any text.
Right.
It's a great way to communicate when collaborating with people, to have some text in the 3D document as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So yeah, this tab is very important because it allows you to switch from edit mode to object mode. Object mode is basically the most high level mode where you can drag around objects. But to do that, you have to press G. I'm now pressing G, and if I move the mouse now, you can see that it's now moving.
Yeah.
However, this is a very cumbersome way of positioning objects. Another thing you should notice that this thing here, if you click or drag it, click drag, then you can sort of change the view.
Oh, okay.
This is perfect for.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, this is perfect for laptop as well.
Yeah, it's really good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. However, for if you use it on a laptop, this is a small segue. In preferences, you have input, and there is. Let me see. Where was it again? Yeah. So there is like you don't really have three mouse buttons on a laptop, and what I usually do is an emulate 3-button mouse, and then you can sort of hold the Alt or the Apple key to sort of do the same as this, but with while holding the I'm now holding the it says middle, but I'm actually holding the Apple key right now, and if I click drag, now I can also change this viewport. So this is a small tip for on a laptop.
Very useful.
Yeah, or actually just always enable it. You can never go wrong with it. If you have a mouse with a middle button, that's fine. But yeah, it's always great to be able to hold and click drag to change it quickly, this view. So that's a small tip. So the G, as I wrote here, is the grab mode. And here I'm writing X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. And this allows you, let's go back to the modeling tab. This allows you in object mode to move it along an axis. So if I press G and I press X one time, then I can perfectly align it along the X axis.
When I press
Yeah.
X, it asks me if I want to delete.
Yeah, because if you press X in a normal way, then it is indeed delete. It's a good. Let's also write that down, by the way. X is delete selected object. But if you do, I will show it like this. If you do GX,
Yeah.
then it is grab and move it over the x-axis. So if you press GX, then you will see this, and you move the mouse, then you can do this. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works really well. Thank you. So G for grab, and then once you have grabbed it, you then constrain it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very much like holding down the shift key in a lot of traditional apps. You constrain it along one axis, but since you have three here, you have to specify X, Y, and Z. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and it might look like an overly efficient way of, like, why not just moving it like this in 3D space, like in Photoshop? Well, trust me, if you, in a similar way, if you do GY, then it will move over this axis, which is a weird way of moving it over the Z axis, actually. But if you press GYY, sorry, GYY, sorry, G times 2, or GZ, sorry, let's do this. Then so if you just do GY or GX or GZ, then you can move it perfectly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it makes so much sense. Absolutely.
yeah. So this is I think a very important shortcut, so that you can move around and move an object like this. Then there is, I will write it down like this. Then there is S, which is scale, and it has similar variations. So if I press S and I move the mouse, it will scale it across all the axes in 3D, basically.
Yeah.
If I press XZ, it will scale it over the x-axis. And since you were, you were sort of mentioning a table, if I press SZ, so now it starts to look more like a table. Does that work on your side?
Yeah, that's really good, actually. Really good.
Yeah. So now I'm pressing GZ to sort of move it a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, one small detail, like sometimes, this is fine to sort of do some quick modeling, but sometimes if you have to be precise, there is a numeric pad button. It's 5, and it switches between perspective and, I think, orthogonal. So if I press 5, you will see suddenly this. I don't know if you see this.
Nope, that doesn't work here.
Do you have a numeric pad?
No, I only have normal numbers. Good point. That's not the same.
Aha. So I'm curious how this could be done.
Oh, I found it. It's
Oh,
underneath the camera icon.
beneath the camera icon.
The one below the camera icon, that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thanks. I've learned something. There you go.
Yes. Best way to learn is through teaching. I have a question at this point, actually, since you
Yeah.
mentioned table. It's funny, I was thinking table. It's easy to lose scale, lose a sense of scale. So, for instance, um, how do I either set the size of the boxes on the infinite plane, or how can I import a rough person to be normal human height so that I know them what scale I'm rendering to? Is that easy or not?
Yeah. To sort of partially answer your question, if you want to have a sense of sort of measurement, this icon here, the object properties, show you in meters um, what we're doing. So if I just drag this, you can see that I'm now dragging the table 1.5 meter above the 0 point, and I've scaled it to 3.6 meter here, or I can make it 2 meters. So this is where you could sort of get some yeah, real world feeling about the object.
Right?
There is yeah, we could just for the
Well, how did you get that? Oh, there you go.
yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm going. I forgot about it. You can do the following, and then it's a shortcut which also answers your question. Um,
Is it
shift,
control click or
maybe, maybe no, it's not the right way. Well, if you do Shift A,
shift A?
yeah, then you see this,
Oh, right.
something like this.
Okay. Yeah.
And here you can add some primitive models like a cube. And if we put this, I'm now pressing G, Z, oh, sorry, I'm selecting it. Oh, wait, I have now, I will do Control Z because I was in edit mode. So it added it to the object. So I want it to be a separate object. Therefore, I have to be in object mode, press Shift A again. Then I get the add menu. This is the
Okay.
right menu. So now I can add a separate cube. Now I can move it by pressing GZ, grab Z axis.
Yeah.
Now I do grab X axis, and I will now make it a bit smaller. This will be my person. So I scale it with SX and SY. So this is my person, and I'm gonna make it 1.6 meter high by just entering this number in the Z. And I will now, because now it's a bit, it's not no longer on the floor. I'm now moving it a bit. I think this is, if I press this same the location, then it should be on the floor. So I created a person of 1.7 meters.
Okay.
And so this is perhaps a reference, and I'm pressing Shift A again, and now I can add, for example, a monkey as the head. So here's a monkey.
Sorry, important question.
Yeah.
How do you make sure it touches the ground?
There is so I did it in a quick and dirty way. Normally you have to set it to 0, 0, 0, and now you will see now it's exactly in the middle,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So this um, if you watch closely, you can see this a small orange dot, which is the origin or sort of the pivot point of the object.
Yeah.
And you can move that by hitting tab. So now we're in edit mode. And then and now all these points, we have to select them. We can do that by pressing A. Let me also write that down. A is select all objects or points in edit mode.
Okay.
And shift plus A brings up the add objects.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have, so I've pressed A, which selects all the points. And then I press G, grab, and then Z, grab it over the y-axis. And now I can move, and you can see that the origin stays where it is. So I can move it. Well, in the here in this area, you can see the meter, so you can really see, like, okay. Let's go to orthogonal mode to sort of see how it. To be honest, I think there must be a quicker way. I just do it roughly like this, and I don't care too much if it's really in the origin. I'm now zooming in with the mouse scroll with the mouse wheel.
Yeah.
And now I'm pressing Z again to sort of really sort of have it in the middle.
Is there a way you can instantly see the views from the left, right, front, top, bottom, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So the predefined projections are basically the numeric pad.
Oh, okay.
7, 9, 1, 3. If you do that here, then you will see this kind of these kind of views. So this would be a fast way to quickly align, you know, it here. And now if we go out of edit mode and we select this object, you can see like, oh wow, now it's, you know, the location is perfectly 0. And now, yeah,
I
if we
can't. I don't have the numeric keypad, so I need to find another way to get those views. I'm looking under the view menu.
This one.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, under viewpoint, top, down, bottom. So I'll just do front and zoom in. So then, oh, okay. So the red then. Okay, what view do you have now?
I think I have the. Oh, I don't know which one this is. This is 3, numeric keypad 3.
Okay, hang on a second. Numeric viewpoint. That's right. Okay. So, oops. Oh, immediately when I move the cursor, it switches out.
Yeah, I wonder if there, perhaps there are some
sideways?
buttons for it.
How do I move the camera without just flat, right, left?
Ah, here. Oh yeah, this thing. Do you see this thing?
Up there, yeah.
These are the presets of the num keys, because if I hover it, you can see Control numpad 7.
Oh, that's cool.
These are the preset views. Okay.
That's very cool. Very cool.
So
I think I'm upside down now. Oh, here we go. Okay. But yeah, how do I move sideways?
you mean the key, the projection, the whole view?
Yeah, what I mean is when I manage to get to, let's say, the right view and my person isn't there, it's off screen. I need to move just like that,
Yeah.
not in a 3D way.
So there are several ways. Like if you have a mouse and you hold shift and then you click the middle mouse button, you can sort of do it like this. And I am curious if you press the Apple key, because we emulated the 3 mouse button, plus Shift, then maybe it does the same. Yeah, it does the same.
Yes, I use the Option key, but yeah, Option, whatever extra key plus. Okay, so now view, viewport, right. Yeah, now I view, okay, now I do it flat. And then, so the green, can you do the same, please? Do the 3 on your numerical keypad.
Yeah.
Okay, so the green line there is obviously the bottom, the ground, right?
Correct.
Okay, my person is on the ground. Major advancement in modern technology.
Nice, perfect.
And now I can instantly just flap about. Okay, this is good.
Okay, so I will put the person on the side I'm going back to perspective mode. I find it a bit
Yeah, me too.
easier to sort of reason about. I will now move it by GX, so grab and move it over the X and putting it behind the table.
Okay.
And just to note, if you press X, then this is how you basically delete objects. And with Control Z or Apple Z, you can bring it back.
Okay, so this is absolutely fantastic. I think you pushed a ton of keyword shortcuts into my head. Could you tell me, you not necessarily show me, but tell me what would now be the process to export this in a way that can then later be viewed in a headset? Is that an easy
Yeah.
export?
Yeah, I will explain it to basically render it.
Okay. Actually,
So
should we do it? Is that okay?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So what is very important is these are the rendering settings. So we have now a sort of very simple rendering setting, which is easy for editing, and
When you
even
say
simple. Yeah,
when you say here are, where are you looking? I'm sorry.
I'm here in the top right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you see these sort of globes?
Yeah. Can see them. Yeah.
So so the most left of them is the wireframe. If you press that, you will see everything in wireframe.
Yeah.
The second one is called the solid. This is usually also handy for modeling. But if you want to render stuff, which is a bit heavier, if you have a not so powerful computer or a very complex scene, the moment you want to render, you can press this one, which already looks a bit better. And the other, this one is the most advanced. But just for now, for the sake of exporting something, let's set it to this shading mode.
I'm sorry.
And
Before we
yeah,
export, a really important question. How do we set the origin of where the viewport headset would be in this scene?
that is basically the camera.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And that's a good point. So the render will happen basically based on this camera. And right now we're not looking at the scene through the camera. We're just looking at it from a sort of Blender macro perspective. If we want to see how it gets rendered by the camera, we have to click the camera.
Okay.
And then to select this camera, we can, let's just go for a for a laptop way of doing things. We click this, we toggle the camera view. So this is basically our canvas. So this is very important for to render something out and very annoying to model in.
Yeah.
So you usually want to model like this, and once you start to render, then you want to toggle the camera. As you can see, not everything is in place. So what we can do here is, since we, like here on the right, we're still in object mode or object properties. And you can see the camera is selected because we just clicked it. Then we can adjust these rotations and location. For example, like this, to get everything in frame.
So if we wanted to be roughly where a human would be, we would do it 1.7, 1.8 meters tall, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. So let's say I think then the z would be 1.7, and the rotation should then be 90 degrees. And so this is what we could do is go out of camera mode into sort of modeling mode, and then using these controls, I'm now in the -y mode. I'm now grabbing the camera using G and then X, and I'm now moving it towards our human. How is that on your side?
Yeah, I'm moving it, but the origin doesn't move, so I guess I'm dealing with a focal length then.
Are you perhaps in object mode, or could
Yeah.
you share your screen just for a moment?
I am in object mode. Yeah, I'm happy to share. So make this full screen then for the video. So yeah,
Yeah, so what if you, select the whole thing, and then if you go to a more orthogonal view, can you go to, and then change this, the camera rotation a bit so that it's sort of aligned.
how do I do
Sorry,
that?
I mean like I had, like if you press on the right top,
On the right top, yeah.
press one of these presets, another one perhaps.
No, this is great. So you
Oh yeah,
want me
now
to?
you can move it. Yeah,
No, I do.
with the
Yeah, so
GX or
I
G
select it and then I do G.
and
Oh
an
yeah,
X.
okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect.
So now I'm just going to move it there. That's reasonable. And now I'm going to try to rotate it. Do I do that numerically or is there keyboard for that as well? Maybe it's
Yeah,
this.
rotate is R.
That makes a lot of sense. That's obviously wrong. Oops. Now I thoroughly
You can
messed
do
up.
Control Z to undo it.
Okay. So rotate. Okay, so I'm rotating it here, and now I want to grab it, move it here. Okay, rotate it again. And then I go up the rotation, I clean it up here. Yeah, that's good. And then we view it inside the camera. Oh, that's perfect, because then off to the side we have the person. This is
Yeah,
very
exactly.
exciting. Very, very, very exciting.
Okay, so perhaps you can adjust the Y location of this camera to sort of get everything in frame.
Move it back, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I have it from
that's
the different angle, so it would be
maybe the X one.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. Okay, so I will also
This is
start
fine.
sharing my. How about I share my screen again and go from here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see this?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay, so I will.
Just got to get my blender out of full screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I will sort of adjust it like you did. Okay, this is obviously wrong. I'm now.
So to move it up, you did a G for grab, and then you did a Z to constrain it, right?
Yes.
And now you're just doing it numerically for the view, okay?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I do it numerically. Yeah. 1 second. So let's go to animation, the animation tab in the top.
Okay.
So here we can actually see our same modeling screen, but on the left, we actually see the camera view already. So we have two, we can see the neutral modeling environment, and we can see what the camera sees,
Good.
which is great. Which also means that, for example, if we press G, Z, you can see how it affects the rendered preview. So this is very important to remember. And
Hang on a second. I got a bit lost there. I'm in the view, as you said,
Mhm.
and okay. When you said G and Z,
Yeah.
I just got the normal Z. The G didn't do anything. I guess that's because I didn't select the camera somehow.
Maybe you didn't select the camera indeed.
How do I do that when I'm in this view?
You just click it like this.
But I can't see the camera. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so select the camera, G. Okay, I get it. Perfect. Thank you. Very useful.
And just a small segue for the sake of the video. You
Oh, that's
could
great.
sort of make a screenshot of this. This shows most of these things we've just discussed. So to be honest, sometimes I also have to look at it again, because if I take a Blender break, it's very easy to forget.
Yes,
But for some reason, also some shortcuts stay in my muscle memory, and some of them I have to relearn over and over again. It's very weird how that works.
it is. It's interesting.
But anyways, since we have our table and we're ready to render it out, we can now go to render and then render image. And if we click that, depending on the complexity of your scene, will be rendered out. And does it work on your side?
Yes, it's fine. Yes.
So if you press image in that window, you can also save it as an PNG, or whatever you would like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically how you would do that.
Okay, cool.
There is also a sort of like there's a small printer here on the right, a printer icon. I don't know if you see it.
That's hilarious. Yes.
And here you can set all kinds of aspects of the sort of printed image, the rendered image. So
Yeah.
here you could adjust, let's say I want my scene, let's say you want to send something to some kind of print shop, and the end resolution would be this, but you just want to send a small preview to a friend, and you can set this percentage to 20, and then if you press render again, which is basically F12, then you get exactly a smaller version, which renders very quickly.
Yeah, that's useful.
So yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. You can also set a specific file where it has to render to. I will not bother you with so many options. It's crazy.
But how do we not export it as for XR?
So in XR, to export something like this, you would go to File, Export, and the most easy format is GLTF. So then you can now save it to table.glb, and then you could sort of go to the web browser gltf.report to see how this works. For example, I'm now opening the the table. So now here you can see our table in the web browser.
Okay, hang on. GLB report. No, hang on.
gltf.report.
I may have made a mistake here. So file, export,
And then
GLTF,
yes, export
but
gltf.
it's a .glb file, right?
Yeah, that's a bit confusing. GLB is the binary format of gltf, which is very small, and so it has basically two extensions. You can save it as a GLB, which is small and binary, very compressed, sort of a zip. You can view it as a zip. And if you save it as .gltf, here on the side, you can choose also
It
gltf
looks
embedded.
beautiful. It's the most beautiful table in virtual reality land.
Exactly.
So the Mozilla hubs,
Yes.
which has been become very, very different from what it used to be, much more commercial and preset.
That's a good observation. I came to the same observation last week when I looked at it again.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, they basically, Mozilla Hubs is basically a VR experience inside a GLB file, which you just created.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can. I don't have my old credentials. This is really annoying.
I think they sort of retired the old hubs and the accounts. I'm not 100% sure about that, but some kind of big
I
shift.
did go. I went in a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
And
here it is. Looking for your old rooms. Visit the legacyhubs.mozilla site. It's in the bottom of the hubs.mozilla.com site.
oh, interesting. Oh, okay, here we go. Sign in, sign up. Why is this not remembered? This is really odd. But okay, that could take forever and would be very boring for anyone to watch. But my question then becomes, how would you now, you built this amazing room, all these things, how would you want to put it online so that the rest of the community could view it with their headsets? What's the easiest way to do that? Self-hosted or something else or what?
Well, so yeah, this is this is a small plug. This is something which this exactly this use case is what I also facilitate at XR Fragments. If you go to example browser, I basically if you click XRF, I basically created this button, load 3D file, and then you can basically load the table into XR. So the shading is a bit off because we didn't assign materials. And now you can press the VR button to enter VR basically. And so one way is doing it like this, basically sharing the table.glb or a Dropbox on a Dropbox and telling like, hey, I updated it, just load it into this this URL, this sandbox basically. That's one way. Another way is that yeah, you would have to self-host some kind of VR viewer, which is yeah, a bit more hassle.
We can do that. We have a full server. Can do it on our lab server.
Yeah, so in that case, I would look up aframe.io, or even easier, you could also just go to getting started at XR Fragments, which is basically an A-frame. There's a Hello World.
iframe.io is for sale, $4,500.
Oh, really?
Oh, iframe. You said A-frame. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you could just, I don't know if you have a GitHub account, but I basically build it in a way that here are some files in this repository. If you press the fork button, you have your own server environment. You can just add your GLB files here by pressing the upload button, and then it's basically, yeah, on a server. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about complexity, HTTPS certificates. So this could be a way to quickly sort of yeah, view these GLBs, and also having the way to basically link from one GLB to the other. So that's one way. If you really want to get dirty, yeah, you have to create your own. Um, you have to basically go to A-frame, click Model Viewer, then check View Source, and then sort of load this project. This is an HTML project with A-frame, etc., and go from here. For me, this is already not interesting because it involves coding and server plumbing. Um, well, you could also go from here and remix it and host it on Glitch. But yeah, this is yeah, it's a bit of a topic. Like, what is the easiest way to view GLBs in VR? Maybe hubs could also be a nice entry point.
Right. So our use cases are as follows. One of them is a GLB is relatively static, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I really would like our community to be able to take their GLB and just upload it somewhere where we give them permission, as easy as using WordPress. So then we can instantly, because we all have the URL to where to find these things, check each other's work. And then similarly, have a way to upload full virtual reality, what would we call them? Applications, WebXR.
Hmm.
How do you think we should do it now, at least with these models? I have a full freestanding server. I can do whatever I want to it.
Yeah, that's really cool, and it really depends on how much do you want to be burdened by the maintenance of this server. So I think that I should throw back the question to you is like, do you want to maintain, do you want to be sort of in the middle, a man in the middle of, you know, your your collaborators uploading GLB and serving it to everybody? Do you want to be in the middle of that process, or would you be, for the time being, be okay with perhaps a small service who already does that out of the box for you, like Mozilla Hubs? Or do you want an in-between thing, some kind of open source environment which facilitates that, which you run on your own server, again with the burden of maintaining it and setting it up yourself?
I wouldn't set it up myself. I would pay someone because I don't know how to do that. But I
Hmm.
would be okay bearing that cost, time and money. So let's look at our community as it stands now.
Hmm.
Let's imagine the amazing introduction you just did, because I'm going. This part we will release a full video, including this chat as kind of background.
Hmm.
But we're going to have one for the end user, which is up to the export point, right? So
Hmm.
let's look at the people in our current community. Let's say Alan Laidlaw. He's clearly a clever guy, a techie. I don't think he knows Blender very much. But I could very well imagine that he would make a table and then maybe work on how to get a setup of a paper thing, which is one of the things he's interested in.
Mhm.
Maybe he doesn't know how to do something, he sends it to you or Brandel, and you guys do some fixing, send it back to him. But at some point, I want him to be able to just take that file and upload it. So all of us in a meeting put on our headsets, click a really easy link or equivalent, and we view it. Not necessarily collaborative at the same time, but the same thing in different instances. That's fine. That is the absolutely key because uh, we can send an image to each other. We can do a lot of stuff, but these things is currently a hassle.
Mhm. Well, so I agree with you with that these GLBs are very static, which it sort of turns it into a viewer of an object, but that's a little bit that's not too much. That's not enough. And this is exactly um, why adding some XR fragments to it, add some interactivity to it, clickability, etc. Without having to sort of code. So you would just enter it in Blender that, hey, here, if you click this, do that. And so I think personally, so I'm sort of plugging the XR fragments viewer now, but if you would just have, if we would put a XRF viewer on your server, which also has access to a certain Dropbox folder where everybody has access to, then we have a very nice Blender to Dropbox to VR pipeline without any software, without any running any big server software. It would be very simple. Okay, you cannot do everything with it. You cannot do a multi-party that everybody is in the same room and having all kinds of avatars and stuff. But I think there's something I really missed from Mozilla Hubs is that it's something very, very simple and uncomplicated.
Okay, I agree with every single word you said. How do we do it?
Um, so what I could do is, if I get access to your server to a certain, well, first we need a domain, or no, we don't. Maybe we need perhaps on the future of text, which I have access to. We need a special page, let's say /VR or something, which is the viewer.
You want this to be on the Future of Text Lab, maybe?
That could be so we need one URL where we would have a sort of starting VR scene, which has access to Dropbox. And then later I need to install a script, a small script, which sort of you know maps or mounts the Dropbox folder we would use to the web server so that the web server can and WordPress has access to it.
Just making that page for you. Okay, so now I've made a page called, I'll just paste it into chat just to see if this is at all what you're talking about. So that now exists.
Yeah.
So how do we then connect
Perfect.
this Dropbox? I have a business Dropbox, so I can very happily add that as well.
So the first step is not the Dropbox, but is the viewer, which is basically an iframe embed code. If you go to xrfragments.org and then click example browser, and if you press
Hang on, I went to the wrong page. Could you please paste the URL in so I don't?
Yeah. So
Thank you
just
very
go
much.
to this here.
Excellent. So cool. It just renders immediately.
Yeah. So if you press on the XRF button on the right,
Yeah.
you will see a share button,
Okay.
and that displays an iframe embed code. Correct?
This is great.
And we need to somehow make that, put that into the XR page, WordPress page.
It says no, it wouldn't be embedded, but I can make it a link. So maybe,
Also possible.
yeah. So if you click on that page now, there's a link on there, and it goes there.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, do you know why it doesn't embed it or like an iframe?
Nope. It just gave me an error. It says, let me see. Okay, hang on. I'm going to delete it and try to add it again. Sorry, this content could not be embedded. Very useful.
Okay, well, we can solve that at a later point in time. So could you also, just for to make it a bit more obvious, I'm thinking about if I'm correct. Well, okay, I cannot come up with this certain parameter which shows the load button immediately. So you have to press the XRF button for now. I think what we would need is some place, a shared folder, could be a G Drive folder or a Dropbox folder, which allows us to upload files.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
Well, I have a Dropbox account, so hang on. Let me just make that happen. Website, do the login business.
And perhaps you could upload the table.glb to that folder while I go to the toilet for 1 second.
Okay. I was trying to make a shared folder. Let me see. Maybe this one. Okay, no. It has to, everybody has to be invited, so I'll just invite you to begin with. Of course, it'll take quite a long time. So Safari, so this will be FTL-XR. To you, can edit. So who should be on this thing now? I'm just doing them all. And I think that's the last one.
You could also sort of first do the two of us before they get invites to something they don't understand.
If they are at all interested, that would be good. Okay, so now that exists. This is very, very exciting. So now I'm going to drag this file across my table. I'm just going to call it tests. And throw table, drag it across. Okay, it has been added. Now, how do we connect that to our viewer?
So there is I'm thinking of various ways. I think the best way and quickest way, but I don't know if that's possible, if Dropbox allows it, is can we turn that Dropbox file into a web link?
Yes.
Does Dropbox allow that? And could you share that link in the chat?
Yes.
Okay. So I will now open this, and I'm hoping to see the raw file. So let me share my screen and show you what I'm doing here. So I'm opening this link here, which is this one. Of course, it cannot be previewed. I'm now pressing download. Your file is downloading. So now I'm getting this file. Of course, I can now open it in here, which is an extra step. I was hoping that somehow I can create like a raw link. I'm now doing small hack to see if I can see what's going on here. So yeah, maybe this is the file. I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, this is very ugly. Okay, this is not a really good file. Anyways, I was hoping to, and I will show it in the chat, to be able to do something like this, which it supports, the HTTPS, dropbox.com, the table. I was hoping that something something like this would be possible, because this is basically how you could load this table.glb into the sandbox. But unfortunately, Dropbox gives us this weird interface download screen, which is a bit sad. So we could also upload the GLB to your WordPress. That's also an option through the file manager. Then we could link it in this way. But yeah, that kind of breaks away from our Dropbox idea we had so far. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that link to see if I can more easily see the rawness. Hang on, that's interesting. Okay, see, can you click on that last link? That's what that was the download link. That's taken from the URL bar. What happens when you click on that?
Oh, yeah, I will show you. Maybe we're getting closer here. What I'm getting is this, that I need to be logged in. So maybe, is there a permission setting which you can set to public
Uh, Good point. Let's
of
see.
that file?
Well, I'll do it for the folder. Let me just have a look at this. Create folder info, manage permissions. So these people can edit all view. Links for editing, links for viewing. Here we go. Settings. Create a link for viewing. Anyone with link. I can.
Should I try it again?
Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Only invited people can upload. That link for viewing. Okay, now I can click save. Link for viewing. But I'm just going to see if I can find. Yeah, you can try it again. I'm going to also try.
It would be great if we would just have a Dropbox folder as a web directory.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if they support that.
Try the. Okay, hang on. Try that last link I put in. It's the same as earlier, but I've changed permissions now. Does it behave differently for you?
Yeah, it's. I'm getting now the download screen.
Oh, that's the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Download.
fragments.
So another option, what I also suggested earlier, is as a one-time job is um, running some Dropbox software like rclone on your server, which basically synchronizes a Dropbox folder to the server drive so that WordPress always has access to it. And another perhaps more simple way of doing things is setting up a GitHub repository, and we would just like I showed earlier, we would just invite everybody to this, the, let's say, Future of Text repository, and where they can just upload GLBs, and then all these things already have a web address. So and then we could just do something like, so I'm just clicking here. So if we have the example browser here, then you can also basically do this. So I'm now copy pasting the GitHub GLB file, or it would be table, but that would be a sort of hassle-free solution as well.
Sure, I can do that. So let's do that.
Okay.
Look at my screen, please.
Looking at your screen, yeah.
Anything else I should do?
No, that's enough.
And how do I find you?
Yeah, you need to invite me, and then invite collaborators. My GitHub name is, it's very cringy, but I chose it many years ago.
I found it. Is this
Oh,
you?
yeah, perfect, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a cool name.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so now if you go to code, the first step on the left, in the top left code, then oh, this is a bit unuser friendly. How do we
You want me to make you admin on this? I guess I can, right?
oh no, there's a get started by creating new file, uploading an existing file actually. Can you click that? Uploading an existing file, that one, yes. Perfect. Now you can upload your table that.
And should I give it add files where I upload? No. So it's just got this. I just click commit
Yeah,
changes.
you can add some notes there if you want, but yeah. Okay, now we have our file. This is great. Now, what I have to do is I will take over. I will share my screen because now I need to do a little thing to turn it into a website, this as a web directory. So I will now go to FTL XR, it was, I think, or perhaps prod
FTL-XR, that's it. Oh yeah, with my name. So I've given you the link if you.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So I will do a little bit of magic now. Oh, can you give me, I don't see, I don't see the settings tab which you have. And I need to click one small thing in the settings tab. So if you could go to the settings tab.
You have to accept the invitation first, I think, because I can't give you more access.
Ah, okay, yes. I will, I'm viewing the invitation now. I'm accepting it. And I will share my screen again because you're right. Absolutely right.
Oh, do you have it now?
Yeah, so if I go here now. Oh, no, I have accepted the, but I don't have the settings button. Maybe I'm not, my role is not administrator. Is that
I'm not actually sure how to do that.
I'm going into settings now, and then if you.
So I'm following you.
I'm quickly checking how it's set up here. What does it say if I go here? Maybe it gives me a hint of which setting. No, it just gives me that. But there is one thing you need to click for now, which is actually let's see, for example, this one. You need to click settings, and then you need to go to pages.
Settings, pages, yeah.
And then here you have to select GitHub Actions. Can you do that?
Yeah. I have GitHub pages. Okay, hang on. Nope. That's not right. Saying the same thing. Branch, visibility. I guess I need to pay for this.
That's weird. It should be free. I'm not paying for GitHub either. I have a free account.
Okay, I'm happy to pay, but obviously it will be useful if it does what we need. Let me share then, please, and then you can see what I see.
We're so close.
We are.
Yeah, can you do the deploy from branch drop down and then GitHub Actions? Yeah, this is perfect. And now I will share my screen because now it's enabled to do a little bit of magic, which is a one-time magic, which exposes the whole repository as a web directory, which means we don't have this, we can immediately consume it in our VR viewer. So here is your project. I will now quickly clone it. Project. Make it a bit bigger. Git clone, and then here we have. Oh wait, where is this? This is the address. Now it's cloning it. FTL. Yes, here is your table. And what I'm doing now is I'm copying this directory, which has some instructions to expose the current directory dot as a website. So now I will go to add this, commit expose repository as a web directory main. And now, hopefully, if you go to actions, you can see an orange thing, something is building here. It's now pushing it, deploying it to the web. We need to wait until it's green. So every time somebody uploads a GLB file, then it will sort of run this thing automatically, which updates the website. Here you can see the website. I'm clicking on it right now. You can see it says it says that it's now a 404 because it doesn't have an index .html. But if we do this, oops, now you can see, so this URL works, which means that we can now, this should work. I'm adding this to the sandbox. See what happens. Hopefully this works. Hello? Maybe my internet is a bit slow. Hello? Oh, it says it can't find it. Why is this a... there's a bug here. I know something else, what I can do. I will quickly copy the XR viewer to the repository so that we can use it immediately. The viewer, so that, okay, just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Example, parser, example, A-frame sandbox. Yeah. To here. Let's see. This can go. This can go. Here. Index. Go away. This can also go away. Assets can go away. Let me quickly check the files which are included. Yeah. Just need to quickly add this. can also put a feature of text logo in the top. That's, I guess, a bit, it makes it a bit cooler. So this is a, what is this? Oh, copy image address. Perfect. It's in here. Logo. And let's quickly make this directory. Except fragments, example. Yeah. Or this. Yeah, I think this is it. Oh, and the style sheet, and then we're done. Style. We'll just call it assets. This is a one-time thing, so that.
Oh, absolutely no rush. This is really good.
Oh. Yeah, that looks good. Example. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do now this one. First try standalone viewer. I'm pushing it. Now I'm going to the actions to see if all, when it's done deploying. Yeah, there's one small thing I will create. I will create an index.glb. So this one, which is basically the start file. So if it will basically be the default VR scene when
Okay.
entering this special URL of us. You can always overwrite it. Create it index.glb as default scene. Pushing it now. Okay, so now it's almost done. Checking the build.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay.
And I'm back.
Okay. So we have, so we basically have three important files here. We have two GLBs, and you can add more. We have an index.html, which is basically the viewer, and our index.glb, which is the starting scene.
Okay.
And I will going to actions now, and I'm going to here that this is basically our table. It's basically loading glb, the index.glb, and you can view it by pressing the VR button. Some things are a bit off still, but I will fix that later. But this could be a nice starting point. I will now go back to the chat. So I think this URL, if you embed this URL in a WordPress site, you would actually get a viewer. So not as a link, but as an embed.
It doesn't want to embed. But that may be because there's something else on the page.
Is it possible to add an iframe to the page?
No,
Is
but
that an option?
even a link is okay. Hang on, I'm just going to do something else real quick. Yeah, for God's sake, sorry, my developers asked me a question.
No worries.
Okay, I have answered. So if you go to, let's just do a text. If you go to the Future Text Lab now,
Mm-hmm.
see there is a page on the front page, excuse me, there is a link. Wi-Fi disabled. Let's just go back on Wi-Fi. So, just
In the bottom, or where is it? This link.
let me see if I can. I'm going to try to. I'm going lab future text info. So on the future FTL, open a new link. So that's wrong. Oh, there we go. Right. Yeah, welcome. The Future of Text Lab meets every week, blah, blah, blah. XR repository. So link to that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just go click on that, that loads the page that has the GitHub. And that loads the first thing. So I'm going to do VR. Okay, to AR. Okay, I have a huge table in my actual physical office. And there is the big person in the corner. Yeah, this works. That was extraordinary.
I will tweak it a bit more because right now I see some I see a small issue where if you press the XRF button, it's not doing anything, so you cannot get the load button, which will be very convenient to quickly test something out before you upload it to GitHub.
Very cool. Okay, I'm going to play with this front page and make it a bit.
I'm gonna play with two things. First, I have to eat, and then later I will still tweak some things about this whole thing. I think having these small experiments embeddable in any WordPress page would be very cool. So I think I still have the login somewhere, so I could play around with that as well a bit.
Yeah, you should definitely. Definitely have that available. Okay, well, this was fantastic. Really,
Yeah,
really, really good. Yeah, so I will upload this discussion later today or tomorrow. Now I have to get back to the grunt working thing. So thank you very,
great,
very much. This is I'm cleaning the front page to make it a more elegant entry point for this.
great. And one small question: did you happen the voodoo bug, which broke the visual meta parser, which delayed your
Oh,
essay and no?
not entirely. It's very, very odd. It seems to be a PDF parsing thing, just as you said. So I had to hand it in a different way, but we are looking at different ways to index the references and stuff. So yeah, it's ongoing and a bit stressful, but it's okay.
Yeah, I like your phrase. After doing 90% of all the IT work, it's time for the next 90. I don't know what the phrase was, but
Yeah, you do first you do 90% of the work and then you do the other 90% of the work. Yes. I remember hearing that. It's pretty scary. Oh, cool.
great. Okay, then yeah, let's keep in touch then, I guess.
Yeah, please, text or whatever anytime, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday, I hope.
Perfect. All right.
See you
Have a
then.
nice day then, and say hi to everybody over there.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.